Hey, hello everyone from the Knox County Public Library and the Tutor Team. It's Mrs. Worland, and you know what time it is. It's reading time. I am so excited to share with you today one of my favorite authors. Her name is Jan Brett, and last year in second grade, we did an author study. I'm sure some of you have heard all the wonderful stories by Jan Brett. So today, I'm going to share with you Hedgie's Surprise. Now, there's so much I would like to cover with you, but today we're going to talk about the illustrations, plus we're also going to talk about the message in this story. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hedgie's Surprise. Look at the pictures as we go through. Very important. Once there was a speckled hen who had laid an egg every day, only to have it taken by a little tomtin every morning. It all started because the tomtin got tired of porridge for breakfast. Now, by looking at the picture, do you know what a tomtin is? That's right, it's an elf. Each morning, the rooster crowed as the sun came up, and Henny knew the tomtin was on his way. So did the little hedgehog, who lived nearby. The tomtin always called out to her, "Henny, have you got a little yummy for my hungry, hungry tummy?" The tomtin climbed into the henhouse, took Henny's warm, smooth egg, and ran off to cook it in his little kettle, sprinkle it with salt, and gobble it down. Then he fell fast asleep in the hayloft until evening. Henny didn't like the tomtin taking her eggs, but she put up with it until one morning when she saw Goosey Goosey sail forth, smiling and bowing, with a stream of piping goslings following her. "Oh my," Henny clucked. "Where did all those little ones come from?" "My eggs are hatching," crooned Goosey Goosey. "Here comes the last one now." From that moment on, Henny wanted a brood of peeping chicks of her own. But how could she stop the tomtin from taking her eggs? The next morning, when the tomtin poked his head in, Henny tried. She clucked loudly and pecked. She flew at him, but nothing stopped that hungry tomtin from taking her egg again. No eggs, no chicks, no peeping babies. Henny wailed so loudly that she woke up the little hedgehog, her tears pouring down on top of him. "Puff a stick, stick," Hedgie went, as he crawled out to talk to her. "Poor Henny. I've been watching the tomtin take your eggs. I'll help you trick him into stopping." The next morning, when the rooster crowed, There was the Tomkin. Henny, have you got a little yummy for my nearly empty tummy? Henry and Hedgie were ready. The Tomkin reached for an egg and pulled out an acorn. Said the Tomkin. What's this? And off he went to try it. The acorn was tasty, but it didn't fill him up, and he awoke in the middle of the afternoon, grumpy. The next time the Tomkin arrived looking for an egg, he found a bright red strawberry that looked bigger than the acorn, so he ran off to cook it. The strawberry was jammy and sweet, but it only filled up the Tomkin a little more than the acorn had, and he woke up early. The sun had just come up when the Tomkin was at the henhouse again, his stomach roaring with hunger. Pushing Henny aside, he grabbed for an egg, only to find a delicious smelling mushroom. He raced off to cook it, and as scrumptious as it was, he woke up with his little tummy growling for more. Cock-a-doodle! The Tomkin rushed in even before the rooster had finished crowing. Henny, have you got something for my hollow tummy? This time he found a smooth round potato, even bigger than an egg. He cooked it quickly, swallowed it down, and went back to his hayloft. He woke up at sunset, only half full. The Tomkin had had enough. Henny, he shouted, tomorrow I want an egg for breakfast and nothing else. If I don't find one, I'll eat you up instead. Henny was scared. The Tomkin had been tricked by an acorn, a strawberry, a mushroom, and a potato. How could they fool him again? Don't worry, Henny, Hedgie told her. Now it is time for my surprise. And he whispered in her ear. All night, Henny waited on her nest, and Hedgie on his. As soon as it began to get light, Hedgie gently covered his nest with straw and got ready for the surprise. Are you wondering what the surprise is going to be? Henny and Hedgie could hear that Tomkin's stomach rumbling like thunder a mile away. He burst into the henhouse, pushed Henny aside, and grabbed. Ow! He howled. Ow! Ow! Stick. He had clutched Hedgie, all closed up in a tight round ball of needle-sharp prickles. Oh. Henny and Hedgie listened as the Tomkin ran home, yelling. Thank you, Hedgie, Henny said, looking at her dear friend. I'm sure that Tomkin won't be back here again for breakfast. But what I can't figure out is, where have you hidden my egg? I thought about that. Just then, Henny heard a little peep, then another, coming from Hedgie's nest. She looked over and saw the straw begin to move. 5 baby chicks peeped out of their shells and fluffed up their down. As Henny settled down with her babies nestled around her, the tomtin's mother was in the hayloft making breakfast for her hungry tomtin. Hedgie, 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 you were so full of surprises, Henny cried as she led her baby chicks out into the sunshine. But the little tomtin didn't hear a word. He was sound asleep, his tummy full of tasty porridge. Hedgie's surprise. Okay, so let's talk about this book for just a couple of minutes. And, as we talk about it, if you want to put this on pause and talk to someone at home about it, you can do that, or you can just stay with me and we can discuss it together. Now, what do you think Jan Brett's message, what was his story about? What was her focus? Well, I feel that one of her focuses was about friendship, a friendship between Henny and Hedgie. What do you think? Okay, I think Hedgie was a wonderful friend. Hedgie felt sorry for Henny because Tomtin wasn't very nice. That he kept coming every day and stealing Henny's eggs. And I loved how Hedgie and Henny worked together so she could have baby chicks. Now, I told you I wanted to talk about the illustrations. Jan Brett does a wonderful job with all of her illustrations. So, the illustrations on the sidebars tell a story in the story. So, if you look here at this first one, it starts with the rooster crowing. And then it leads to, here's Hedgie. And once again, Hedgie is watching as this all unfolds. See how the tomtin is running to his kettle, his breakfast, because he was tired of Mom's porridge. Then Hedgie watches as Henny sees Goosey Goosey. And then we see the tomtin. And then there's Hedgie again, still watching. And we know that probably on the next page, the tomtin's going to come again and steal the egg. And there we go. It happens. And there's Hedgie still watching. We know the nests are empty here. And here we go. We know the tomtin's been there. Here he is sleeping. And then we see here, before we even start reading, there's Hedgie coming with the acorn. And see how the pictures here help us know that. And then we can look here and we know even before we would have read the story, we could have told by the picture that the tomtin's not very happy. And once again, Jan Brett does a wonderful job of letting us know that the strawberry is next, even before we would read it. And then the mushroom. And the potato. And we know the Thompson's not very happy. So we could predict on the next page that Thompson, we know is, like I said, is not very happy. So we know he's going to be back and ready tomorrow, and that Henny had better have an egg. See how he's stomping off. Wait, see here, we know Thompson goes to Mama. You'll find that a lot of Jan Brett's books follow that same sequence, that she uses the pictures alongside to help tell the story with the main illustration. Beautiful book. If you have an opportunity to read some of Jan Brett's books, I highly recommend them. You can find them at the Knox County Public Library. So, this is Mrs. Worland with the Tutor Team and the Knox County Public Library. You can find this video on Facebook on the Knox County Public Library's Facebook page. And they'll also give you a hyperlink, and then that way you can watch it again later if you wish. So, thanks for joining me